I was like, oh, it's a little aggressive. How's it going? Portland! Yeah, I like Portland. I like your slogan, keep Portland weird. I like that. But I don't think Portland's that weird. I mean, what are you guys known for? You have more breweries than any other city, and you have more strip clubs than any other city. We like beer and tits, we're so weird. What else are you famous for? White people? Yeah? No, but we wear kilts and ride unicycles. That's just what happens when white people go unchecked for too long. You need more culture, you know? I looked it up. Portland is 80% white and 19% very white. And 1% Portland Trailblazers. Portland is so white, your beer is the only thing with hops in this city. That is white. I'll tell you what is weird about Portland. Your graffiti is far too positive. You go to the East Coast and see a burned out building and someone spray painted "Abandon all hope." In Portland, it's the same building and it says "Follow your dreams." Yeah. It's a little too positive for me. Good to be here. I used to open my shows with a vaccine joke, but it's, becoming less effective over time. Started telling vaccine jokes, like 93% of the crowd loved it. Like, unless they got the J&J, and then a few months later, I know, the laughter started to wane a little bit. And I was talking to my friend, he's like, dude, just add a second vaccine joke to bring your laughter back to the original levels. That's a good idea. Now, a year later, it's like, look, I think you need a third or a fourth vaccine joke. Do you have one that's okay for 5-year-olds? I'm like, fuck no, I don't. I don't know what kind of long-term effects that could have on a child, It's a crazy couple of years, Hopefully one thing we can take away from all this is recognizing the things that are actually important to us. And for me, I couldn't have made it through this year without family, with money. I mean, that made things so much easier. My brother lives in Hollywood because he's a big-time director. You might have seen some of his work, actually. He does all the TV commercials for Taco Bell. That's pretty cool. I feel let down by my high school guidance counselor. I didn't know that was an option. He gets paid millions of dollars to go, when I yell action, eat the taco. Stay away from the dog, he's a biter. Also, I've never been in a Taco Bell commercial. How is it possible? Have you seen my hair? It's perfect. I thought Hollywood was all about nepotism. Guess it doesn't run in my family. But he's got 2 kids, so I go visit all the time. And I still remember the day he told me I was going to be an uncle. He came downstairs after work. He was like, we're having a baby, and we need you to move out. But the kids are great. They're 6 and 4, which is such a great age because they can actually walk and talk and get me stuff from the fridge. But you got to be careful. They're smarter than you think at that age. I already had an incident, and I'm allowed near schools. Don't worry about it. I'm not going door to door like Jared. I was visiting. Here's the problem. Whenever I fly, I try to bring a full-size pillow on the plane, and I'm sure TSA thinks it's weird, and flight attendants make fun of me, but I don't really care. I just smoke a bunch of pot, I get a window seat, and then I wake up in a new city. I'm like, oh, I time traveled. This is amazing. But recently, I was visiting my brother, and his 4-year-old comes running up to me, and she's like, you forgot your pillow here last time. I go, oh. How did you remember that it was my pillow? She goes, it smells like you. She doesn't know it yet, but in 10 years she can be at a Kanye show like, hey, this concert smells like my uncle. Someone's burning rope over here. My brother just got baptized for the first time at age 40. And we weren't raised religious at all, so when my parents found out, they actually freaked out. They called me up, they go, we're worried about your brother. We need you to check in on him. I was like, hey, relax. As far as a midlife crisis goes, Jesus is pretty mild, It could be worse. At least he's not buying a Corvette comment abandoning his family, you know? Too close to home for Portland. I apologize. I'm sure he's just getting cigarettes. He'll be right back. You know? But I was like, you know what? I'll check up on him. So next time I was visiting my brother, I called my parents. I go, it's worse than we could have imagined. He's into Kanye. Not the old Kanye, the new Kanye. My brother loves Kanye West, and Jesus, and fencing. So now I turned out to be the normal one in the family. And by the way, there's nothing wrong with Jesus. It's great for his life and his family. It just sucks because sometimes he gets a little judgy if I want to catch a buzz. We took a family vacation recently and rented an Airbnb together. And at the end of the night, I just opened the door, smoke a joint on the porch. My brother starts freaking out. He's like, don't do it out here. It's not legal in this state. I don't want the neighbors to freak out. I was like, wow, I knew weed made you paranoid, but I thought you had to smoke it first. Also, we're in Florida. I don't think they're gonna care. Florida is just happy I'm not doing bath salts. Like, literally, that is the state of low expectations. And I get it. I used to be embarrassed I smoked pot until I started touring America as a comedian, and I realized how popular OxyContin is. And I was like, I'm doing fine, you know? Drugs aren't a big deal in moderation. That's an important sentence for Portland. Everything's legal. Drugs, you know, drugs are like speeding. Speeding's illegal, technically, but as long as you're going with the flow of traffic, like no one's gonna care. You know what I mean? If you're going 80 and some guy flies by you at 150, who do you think the cops are going after? Exactly, the black guy doing 55. But I'm like, you know what? I don't want to be a hassle. You know, you paid for this trip with your Taco Bell blood money. Taco Bell bloody stool money. So I'm like, you just tell me where to go. He goes, oh, across the street there's an abandoned field. Just go smoke out there because I don't want the neighbors to freak out. So I'm standing in an empty field at 1 in the morning. Like, no, I think this is worse. I'm pretty sure the neighbor's gonna peek out the window, see a tall, dark, shadowy figure in an empty field and a lighter flickering in the wind. Oh, I'm sure there'll be 911 calls about that. But it only takes 5 minutes to smoke a joint if you're doing it right, so I'm out of there before anyone can notice. And I'm trying to find my way back to the Airbnb, but it's one of those condos where all the buildings look the same. So now I'm building J, trying to find building C, like a backwards alphabet DUI test, you know? The whole point is to not freak out the neighbors, but now I'm tiptoeing through Nana's rose bushes and peeking in windows. Is this C? Where am I going? Finally I give up and I call my brother to come rescue me, and he does. And he's giving me this big lecture on drugs and Jesus. And at the end of it, I go, so you're telling me whenever you feel anxious, you just remember that Jesus loves you and everything feels better? He was like, yes. I was like, that's what drugs do for me. You're talking to a guy who's not there. I have imaginary friends. We're not that different. I was like, I think you should try drugs. You probably like it. That was about 2 years ago, and now he grows pot in his backyard. I won the conversion battle! Take that, Jesus! Visiting family's nice, though. You know, nothing like 10 days with your brother's kids to remind you why you push away anyone who's ever loved you. Oh, don't get sad. They would have left on their own. But I'm trying to get out there. I just met a new lady. She's great. She's been previously married, so she's a rescue. Her last husband actually killed himself, which is great news, because that means I'm her type. You know, so it's gonna... No, don't leave me hanging on that joke. We're gonna tie the knot soon. Some of you are laughing, some of you are like, he needs therapy. You're both right. For different reasons. I actually got over my last breakup with the help of a therapist, but it was a massage therapist, which is weird. She didn't jerk me off. That would have been much less awkward than what actually happened. I don't know what your typical massage expectations are like. I'm just hoping to get naked and never talk to you again, like a Tinder date, but she got real touchy-feely with my actual feelings. I didn't appreciate it. She was asking me all these personal questions about my breakup. She's like, "Are you single?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And she's like, "Why?" And I was like, "What? Did she send you? Like, what's going on? What are you guys, splitting my deductible? I don't understand. That's not a question, you know." But every time I try to give like a vague non-answer, she just digs her knuckle into my thigh like I'm a prisoner in Guantanamo. You know? She's like, "How come things didn't work out?" I'm like, "Oh, people change and people grow and time heals all wounds." And then she elbow drops me from the top rope and I'm like, "Ah! I didn't appreciate her enough. I'm so sorry. It's all my fault. I ignored her phone calls until she acted crazy and I blamed it on her. I'm so sorry." When I left that massage office, it felt just like regular therapy. I was crying. I called my dad to apologize. I had a bill for $800. That's when I learned sometimes it's not the happy ending you want, it's the happy ending you need. My friend is trying to set me up with a musician, but I don't know if that's gonna work out. I feel like we're too similar to dates, you know, like a singer and a comedian. And granted, we have our differences, right? She's got talent and, you know, a fan base, the respect of her parents, who, you know, but I thought, like, maybe as a fellow creative, she'll understand some of my quirks, you know? Like, she comes home and there's candles lit everywhere. I'm bent over the couch with a thumb up my ass, and she's like, "That's just the process, don't question it," you know? That's how I wrote my hit single. But I don't know, I feel like we're too similar, you know? We don't need two people laying around the house all day. One of us has got to wear not the sweatpants in the relationship eventually. One of us has got to learn tax law eventually. I don't know if I want to hear her first draft songs, too. You know, imagine living with a comedian and hearing the rough draft of some of these jokes. Some of you guys didn't even like the finished ones. You know, it's tough. I am done dating younger women, though. That's my new, I'm 37, so most young women have been done dating me for a long time. But just announcing a policy change. 23-year-olds, you're hot, but I can't even read the font on your Instagram story. Anyways. You know, 37, that's not old, but I'm not a young man anymore. It's time to date a woman who can recognize the signs of a stroke. You know? Everyone else is on dating apps like, "Do you have any pets? LOL, what's your sign?" I'm like, "Do you know CPR? This is important."